So, like I said earlier, I've listened to them so much the last 2 weeks. It wasn't until today that I actually listened to their set list that you put in the playlist, Stu. But loads of amazing songs. Of course they are. They have got loads of amazing songs. Do we want to start going through some of the albums or go through the set list? What do you think?
Should we go albums first?
Yeah.
A bit of history.
Yeah, okay. Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, then. Is that right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I listened to it once, 2 weeks ago, and I never went back to it, and I don't know why.
I think it's the first time. I was just going to say, the first time I've ever actually listened to it from start to finish for this episode. I think the main thing to take from it was the excellence of the drumming. Everything else was as you'd expect from Avenged Sevenfold, but the drumming, for some reason, I don't know if I was just listening with my drumming head on or whatever, but that stood out. I mean, to be fair, the first 3 albums, the drumming seemed to get better with every album, and then obviously with the passing of the Rev and all that. But yeah, drumming for those first 3 albums was very good. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, it actually kind of links in quite funnily, actually, because I was going to say, weirdly, the Rev actually did that whole album in one take. So he was playing it, did a few songs, and realised he hadn't had to correct anything. And Shallows was telling the story that he basically refused to do any redos. So it's they actually think it's really sloppy because he would just sort of, they'd be like, oh, you missed that bit. He's like, it's fine. It's just so you can keep a whole one take thing. So I think that probably doesn't help the kind of listenability, as it probably could have been a bit better if he'd have wanted to go back in. It's also not got Sinister Gates on for most of it. He's on to end the Rapture, but before that it was just Zaki.
No, there you go.
Nice.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
You can hear it's the start of something that's gonna, like Stu said, the drums get better. It's the start of something you can tell is gonna get way better in the future. It's very much a first. Some bands do their first album and you're like, holy shit, this band are amazing straight away. But these guys grew into it, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Compared to,
they were literally 17, 18 at the recording, I believe.
Yeah. Even that is a fucking feat for people that young. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we were to do an album together when we were that young, it would not sound as good as sounding the Seventh Trumpet. I can tell you that much. So still good for them. But yeah,
in 2001 as well.
Yeah. But there's nothing really I can pick out from it. I don't really remember any specific details.
The only one song I'd say that is worth a listen to, because I don't really like it, to be honest, is Warmness on the Soul. I think that's still a pretty good song. But Avenged do just do banging ballads, to be honest. I'm not surprised.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, on that, there's something that struck me, from all of the albums, bands don't really do ballads anymore. And so the fact that they are is incredible. I kind of forgot that was a thing. They do a few really hard songs, especially live, and then split up with some ballads. I don't think I've heard a band do a ballad for a long time.
You've got to think that all the bands that inspired these guys, every one of those bands had at least one ballad. You had to have a ballad, you had to have a slow track. So probably they were thinking, oh, we're going to do an album, we've got to have a ballad on there, 100 fucking %. So it is weird how that has gone out of fashion, actually.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. It is kind of jarring when you hear an album and you go, oh my God, it's some fucking slow guitar and someone's singing. What's going on?
Yeah. They put dubstep in it now. And so if they want to change the sound up for the album a little bit, they'll put some weird dubstep or something in.
True.
Electronic or whatever. But yeah, ballads. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed them. Lots of them. Sorry, did I cut somebody off then? I don't know.
No, I was just literally just saying about Warmness on the Soul.
I realised I missed a question just after moving on from the questions that were asked after.
That's so good.
Yeah, that was a favourite opener of an album, if you guys have any opinions. Because one thing I noticed is they have a lot of amazing opening tracks.
I put that on the Discord because I was like, it's actually so hard to pick. Like, you go from like Beast and the Harlot to Nightmare to Shepherd of Fire. Like, even the stage, I know it's not the best album, but the stage is a banging song.
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as people might not like Life is But a Dream, Game Over is still a tune. Especially if you like System of a Down.
Yeah.
It's true though. Like, every first track on that album is like banger.
Yeah.
You're like, for fuck's sake, they do start an album really well.
I don't like critical acclaim too much. I just hate the poncy patriotism in it.
You
It's like,
said
yeah,
that in the Discord as well.
Oh, if I wanted to listen to that, I'd listen to Five Finger Death Punch. Like,
Yeah, it does have that. I mean, I think every American has that inbuilt into them somewhere. So
yeah, true.
I always feel like he's trying to squeeze too many words into the verse as well. If you listen to it,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like he's just running away with himself.
But musically, it's a fucking great opening track. Like, it's heavy as fuck.
It's very Pantera.
Apart from that bit, which I said about, it's amazing. Like, even just screaming and Jimmy singing's fine. It's just that one bit. It's like, just tunes me out. Just starts talking about guns next.
Okay, should we carry on?
Let's carry on.
What was the next album?
Whacking the Fallen.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay. So next album from 2003 was Waking the Fallen. That was another one I didn't get to listen to that much. I think basically I was stuck on those three that everyone talks about. So, what do you guys, the Seagers? Let's start with you again. Did we start with you last time? I don't remember.
I'm not sure, but if we did,
Seagers, go for it.
Yeah. I like Waking the Fallen a lot more than I like the first album. I think Chapter 4 is really good. I Won't See You Tonight, 1 and 2, they're good songs. Unholy Confessions is good live. It's not as listenable as some fans think it is, I'd say. Like, I know some people still love it, but it is a bit, like, especially, they have two versions, so like, yeah, it's a bit like with Sorry You're Not a Winner. They have a demo that they recorded the video for, which is absolutely trash on both, and that's the one that's got the video. And but yeah, it's a lot better, and you can definitely see the foundations, and I can see why it would be some people's favourites. I suppose it's kind of like there's their era where they were with kind of like Killswitch Engage and those bands, and you can definitely hear those influences. But I don't think Matt sounded as good when he tried to sing and scream at the same time in songs. I think he's really good when he does one or the other. And over time, he's kind of got better at doing both. But in that time, it didn't seem to work as well, I don't think.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I was talking about Unholy Confessions a while ago I think on an episode and Discord. And like it kept coming on, but I didn't actually know who it was or what the song was because it was when I was working. But it sounds like a Bullet for My Valentine song. And I think the guitar tone is the exact same sound as Bullet for My Valentine. I think probably like Hand of Blood, maybe.
Well, I mean, this is what they all sounded like in that era. Like they all sounded like this. So yeah, spot on.
If it said with bloodshot eyes in it, it could literally be on the Poison.
To be fair though, like if you just had Matt singing, like if you had Matt Tuck sing on it, and then you put it on the Poison, I don't think anyone would even bat an eyelid. Like, yeah, fine, it's on there.
Yeah, I think there was a few on this one as well that kind of reminded me of Trivium as well. But like you said, that's what they all sounded like at the time.
You got to think about it though, that metalcore game was fucking strong in the early 2000s, boy. Holy shit! You had these bands just fucking just casually throwing these like albums around, just like, there you go. That's some metalcore for you. Pretty decent, to be fair.
Yeah. Awesome. Stu, do you have anything to say on that one?
Well, takeaways would be Unholy Confessions and Second Heartbeat. I'd probably, for myself, I'd probably say they're the two. But with the Unholy Confessions, I don't know if it was the same with anyone else who played instruments or anything, but as soon as you reached a certain age, you figured out that your guitar could drop its E string down to a D, and then as soon as you're like some guitar virtuoso because you can play that. But that was like one of the first riffs that got me into playing heavier anyway. So yeah,
nice.
I always thought that riff is a complete rip-off of a Misfits riff, just FYI. And I know that they're all huge Misfits fans, so I can tell where they just stole the riff. There's a song called Helena by the Misfits, and the breakdown in the middle, it is that riff.
Okay.
And every time I listen to it, when I first started listening to it, I was like, this is fucking ripped off of a Misfits riff, which is fine, because it's just like, a standard riff. But I always think about that when I listen to that song. But I think it's a good song. I think the album's okay. Like you said, I think I like it better than Sound of the Seventh Trumpet. Everyone I knew just fucking loved this album at the time. They were just like obsessed with this album. But I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was great.
Yeah, I think coming from a backwards Somerset town, nobody I knew liked this. We're a little bit behind everybody else. People were into Bullet at this time. But yeah, it wasn't until City of Evil that people started actually taking any notice of Avenged Sevenfold around here. I mean, I'm obviously massively wrong. It's just my circles of people. But yeah, it's funny to think. I'd never even heard of this album.
Yeah, no one in the Southwest liked Waking the Fallen, okay? No one.
Well, I've said to you before as well. So my neighbour's from London. I don't know if I'm taking this too off. No, we're not taking it too far off. My neighbour's from London, and we moved down here. He was looking around like, they're about 10, 15 years behind. Like, looking at the fashion and everything.
There's just someone there churning butter.
But anyway,
or
yes.
Drinking a cider. Right there, miss.
What?
Let's not get racist.
Right, moving on. They're talking about City of Evil. There we go. That's a good. Give myself a segue. That's the one. City of Evil was again not one that I had listened to at the time, but I listened to a lot of it because it was on everything and everywhere. Fuck, I don't know where I'm going with that. There are a lot of good songs on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good album.
Yeah.
I'll say.
They had a bit of a problem with that album as well. Like, for the first part when they released it, it flopped. Like, it really did badly. And the Madden Brothers from, is it Good Charlotte? They picked it up and put it on TRL. And after it went on TRL, it exploded and it ended up winning a TMA. It beat out like Chris Brown and Rihanna for, well, shouldn't mention them too close together.
I was going to say that's a bad choice of words as well.
It was them two, and there was another like massive band that they beat for this award. Okay, that they overtook for this award, and it was I think it was Backcountry for their best new video, or so, and after that it kind of did really it started to pick up and it did really well. So yeah, I need to watch the words there, don't I?
It was huge though. This album, like it like you said, once it got there, it blew out. All these songs that they released were just constantly on Kerrang, constantly on Scuzz. Yeah. I think a couple of them, like you said, got put on Guitar Hero, and then that's fucking that game was like, mega back then. I will say, I think "Seize the Day" might be one of the most annoying songs ever, and I hate it.
Oh.
I don't mind the song, but I've realised the music video is proper shit. Like, loads of people used to watch it and love it, and then I was watching it and I was like, they had such a little budget. It's literally Matt's wife is the lady in the video. And you're like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like his strained vocals.
Yeah, very nasally, isn't it?
It really, like he's got such a fucking good voice. And he could have sung that 10 different ways that would have sounded better than the way that he sung it. I loathed that song at the time, and I still can't stand it. Although I think the rest of the album's awesome.
Yeah.
I did wonder. Download segue, sorry. This Ain't a Scene, Fall Out Boy. They actually parody the video of Seize the Day in their video for This Ain't a Scene.
Really?
Yes. So if you watch it at the end, they're all at the funeral, and then the coffin starts to rise up, and then
God,
guitarist
I
on there.
forgot about that.
I don't remember the video.
There you go. If you watch the two videos,
Was that
Bit
like
of
a
trivia.
piss take, we hate you, or are they like mates?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it a tongue-in-cheek thing, or was it a let's poke fun at Avenged Sevenfold? I bet they're all friends, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, because thinking wore guyliner, which means they were automatically buddies, probably. Because at that time, I mean, Avenged Sevenfold looked like they'd stepped out of a really bad, low-budget horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, but everyone was in 2006. But yeah,
Good. There was a few songs from this time as well, actually, that kind of reminded me of Ice Nine Kills. And it's like doing that kind of thing before Ice Nine Kills did it, like way before they did it. But yeah, that's taking it. That's not what I was going to say. It also, yeah, you said about the standing on the coffin with coming out. That was the guitar solo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was the same time November Rain was started to be played on everything, and he was like,
it's very similar,
"Is he standing
isn't
on a
it?
coffin in that as well, or was it just the piano?" I can't remember.
No, it's outside the front of a church in the desert, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I'm sure there's something, and I was like, because I
The
mean,
imagery is very similar, though. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is similar. Yeah. I
yeah,
get you.
and guitar solo is very similar.
I can't stand November
No.
Rain either.
I'm not too
Really, I loved it.
No.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yes, well, like I said, oh, probably my favourite song of theirs is on this album. You could probably guess what it is. I want to say you could probably guess. I don't know if you maybe silent.
Yeah, burn it down.
Nah.
Is it obvious?
Yeah, I thought it should be, but obviously it isn't. It isn't obvious.
Well,
As obvious. Seegers. You look like you're thinking.
I was thinking maybe Trashed and Scattered.
Nah.
I'm just trying to think which one sounds the most like Maiden.
Yeah.
Or Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah.
Well, MIA
is
has
it?
got their triplets.
Oh, yeah.
I was just
it
about to
does.
say MIA.
MIA.
We played that in 2018. I don't know why and where that came from, but I started to hear that play and I was thinking, where has this come from? That's a deep dive out of nowhere.
Well, I think I heard it on the playlist earlier, so I'm assuming they still play it. I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Is it might not even be on the playlist. Is it? Maybe I was imagining it.
You
on
got the wrong
playlist.
song. Yeah.
Damn it. MIA. Oh. Okay. Anyway, right. Well, let's move on to the self-titled album then, which everyone. I mean, well, these are the three, aren't they? That everyone says are amazing. Or it might have been Scream on this one that I was talking about a second ago.
That's how triplets.
What was that?
Sorry, I said, yeah, that does have triplets. I was kind of just thinking aloud, sorry.
Oh, what, MIA or
No, Scream.
Scream? That's not what. No, I was going to say maybe that's the one I was talking about that sounded similar to the Ice Nine Kills. Maybe.
Oh, right, sorry.
Could they got similar?
Yeah, I can see that.
I love the
relation,
riff for Scream. That riff is.
Yeah. Brown, bow, bow, brown.
It's like
Oh, yeah.
filth, just filth straight away. It's like, okay, fair enough.
I wanna hear that. So I know I listened to it again earlier.
Riffage is dirty.
Riffage.
Whenever I hear it now, I always think it's like the TPD Coachella video where it's either Rob or Raz is asleep and one of them just plays out the starting sound of it really loud and then he just like gets up and screams and it's so good. I've never thought to do that to someone and I'm like, oh, that's definitely happening now.
I was watching TPD the other day, just going off. And I watch each of the festival videos. And I'm from Wolverhampton. And I was watching the video the other day. It's like, today we're going to a tribute festival, WV1 Fest in Wolverhampton. And I'm like, what the fuck? We were there, like, just
Yeah,
chilling.
you
It's like
did a vlog of it, didn't you? Yeah.
I did a vlog of it. It's just like a family day out. And it turns out they came all the way from Leeds to get to Wolverhampton. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're in Wolverhampton. Then proceeded to compare Wolverhampton to Fallout. So Yeah,
Did
I was
you
quite,
unsubscribe?
Oh no.
quite quickly put in my place, to be honest. Yeah,
Bloody Northerners, eh?
Unsubscribe, unring that bell.
that's it.
You can't dislike anything. Yeah. Yeah. Did you see them? Did you? Were they there like the whole day? I don't know how big it is.
Yeah, if you watch the video, they were there for the whole day, but they would have walked past us multiple times. But when you're at download, you're at Reading or whatever, and you think, oh, TPD might be here. I'm not sat there in, West Park, Wolverhampton, thinking, oh, TPD might be here. So obviously wasn't looking out for them, was I? So.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. Yes. So anyway, Avenged Sevenfold self-titled album. It's one I listen to a lot. I can't say I really have too much to say about it. I know it's obviously amazing, but my brain is just fried. My brain was just fried.
In terms of classics, this is like the culmination of like the majority of the classics, I would say anyway. You got Critical Acclaim, Almost Easy, Scream, Afterlife, Gunslinger, Little Piece of Heaven, Dear God. I mean, even the others that I haven't mentioned, but to have them one after another, you struggle to pick out a bad song off the album, to be honest.
It's probably one of the strongest top halves of one of their albums, where it's just like, oh, there's just no room to breathe till you get about 6 tracks in, and then you're like, fucking hell, okay, just been taken for a ride there. And then, then it takes its foot off the pedal, and then kind of goes back on again towards the end of the album, I think. But yeah, it's a fucking really, really solid album that literally has not aged a day. This could be released today, and it would sound fresh as hell. Like
the drumming in Almost Easy, where he does the double rides as well. He's just like an octopus. Like there's a. Have you seen the footage of him in studio playing it, where he does it in one take?
No, I haven't.
The man is a machine. Like he literally walks up to him. He's like, "Go and play Almost Easy." He's like, "All right." Just walks in, sits down, does the whole thing, barely breaks a sweat, just gets up and walks off. And you're like, "What the hell?"
I can't help but air drum to that bit every fucking time. Literally, I'm just like, he's going. Yeah, you gotta do it. Love it. I love it. I'll tell you what though. Tell you what hasn't aged well. The CGI in that music video. That has not aged quite so well. Great song though.
I don't think it ended up being on it, but I remember seeing somewhere that Almost Easy was, they asked them to write it for Transformers. I'll look at it and find out exactly what it was and put it in Discord. But,
I mean, timeline wise, that works out perfectly.
Yeah, that would have been quite a trip to just see Shia LaBeouf with some Almost Easy.
Avenged, yeah.
There's definitely some
great.
alternate universe shit in it. That like,
yeah.
You wake up and you're like, oh, who sang on Transformers?
Yeah, like the end when it does the Linkin Park bit, but it does Almost Easy instead.
I was going to say, didn't one of those albums have someone? He obviously must be in Linkin Park. Was it with Trivium linked to Transformers as well?
They were the soundtracks for all the Transformers ones pretty, but Linkin Park done 3 songs. They done a song for each of the first 3 movies because they were contracted to do 3. I think they're all great songs as well. Actually, fair play to them. But on the soundtracks there were other bands as well. But I hate when they do it. They're like, oh, we're on the soundtrack. Where did the song get played? In the credits.
Yeah.
After the movie. That doesn't count.
No.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite songs, I mean, A Little Piece of Heaven is amazing, but Lost as well. Lost sort of grew on me. I didn't really understand it. Well, I wasn't too keen on it with like the electronics and the voice to start with, but after a couple of listens, I was like, this is probably one of my favourite songs of theirs.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
It's a great song.
But yeah, exactly the same as you guys. I agree with you. So many good songs on this one. I just kept going back to it. I tried listening to other albums, but I kept going.
They nearly left A Little Piece of Heaven off of it as well. They wrote they were going to write a Halloween album, and then the producer saw it and was like, "Why is this not on the album?" And they were like, "Well, surely that's not going to get any airplay. Like, this is like the weirdest song ever, and like the most grotesque lyrics." And the bloke was like, "You're mental if you don't put it on there." And they were like, "Okay," and put it on, and it was like a stroke of genius. And Yeah, but it would have been a lot weaker, not weaker of an album, but it would have been a lot different of an album without it on there.
Like 8 minutes long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah.
It is great though. It is literally like what I always think of when I listen to it. It's like if you it's like they'd been watching too many Tim Burton films and they'd gone.
It's very Tim Burton. Yeah.
I kind of want to write a song that's a Tim Burton song, but I want to make it have guitars and stuff on it. It's great. It's so different. There's no other song that sounds like A Little Piece of Heaven. It really is very, very different to anything that anyone's ever written in the metal world.
Yeah. They've got a full studio recording of when they made it as well, and they show you how like the Rev came up with it. And it literally started with him just sitting at a piano and hitting like a few keys, and then he started to build it. Like they got every sound like in the studio and stuff, like the smashing glasses. There's like M Shadow just stood in the corner throwing glass, and the Rev screaming at the top of his lungs. And it's quite a nice song to see actually, because I imagine it must be like really fun to play live now for him as well, because it's got like so many good memories attached to it, as opposed to like something like So Far Away must be a bit sad to play.
Yeah. That's true, actually. Even though it's quite a downer, like dark song, it's quite a positive sounding song. It's not like it doesn't bring you down. You're sort of like bouncing along with it. So yeah, I think you're right there.